Hello, everyone. This is Barbara Calvano, and welcome. Welcome to my podcast, Let's Ask the Angels, here on Blog Talk Radio. And as I had said for 2020, I'm having guests, and I want to share with you information to really build on what we've been doing for the past 7 years on Blog Talk. I was guided to invite speakers, authors, and writers. I just repeated myself, but just to gain even more empowerment on what we've learned and to take it to the next level. As you know, the energy in 2020 and the next decade is completely different than it was before. And I know that for sure. So it is with really my pleasure to introduce you to my first guest here. Her name is Calista, and she's from Scotland. And here I want to share with you, she's Scottish-born author, speaker, and pioneer of ascension. She's dedicated her life to helping others rise and shine and has inspired thousands of souls worldwide through teaching her therapy systems, unicorn healing, angel healing, and Atlantean crystal healing. Through navigating postnatal depression, disease, and trauma, Calista has gained a remarkable understanding of what it takes to heal and love ourselves. She's passionate about helping people to thrive and provide soul sessions and workshops to cut through blocks quickly and gracefully and enable profound shifts and a return to freedom. From a young age, Calista has enjoyed a strong affinity with nature and the elementals, and now shares her daily Mother Earth news on Instagram and regular Facebook Lives, imparting earth-based spirituality and practical ascension tips. Calista loves spending time with her boys and teaching Kundalini Yoga in her local community. She treasures family, friends, and the little joys of life, believing the key to enlightenment is to honor our humanity as much as our divinity, while having as much fun as possible along the way. Also, Calista has attuned thousands of souls worldwide to the angelic, elemental, and crystal kingdoms, and believes by healing and empowering our lives, we help all of creation to thrive. So today, also talking about her new book, The Female Archangels, Evolutionary Teachings to Heal and Empower Your Life. And it will be released in March 2020. So you can find out all about her at her website, CalistaAscension.com, and also on Instagram and Facebook at Calista Ascension. And now, without further ado, I'm having Calista join me from Scotland. And hello, Calista.
Oh, it's so good to be here, Barbara. Hi to you and hi to everybody listening.
So Calista, I had just mentioned earlier, I did get your first book, and I wanted to share with people, I always like to get a little more background with my guests, and I must say, you all, this book called Unicorn Rising is a book to have along with her new book, but those of you who have been wanting to get let's just say, a thorough outlined way in which to increase your spiritual gifts and align with the energies that are right now. Again, energies are very different today in 2020 than it was 7 years ago when I first started. And I've not quite known how to bridge it. And then I met Calista. And I must say, this is what it is. I felt people need to be more grounded, not spend so much time with the angels, but have a balance. And yet, how do we do that? And then she shared with me a little bit about the female archangels, or actually listened to a video. And I'm really excited about what she's going to share, because in it, she shares about how the archangels are like a coin. The coin has both sides, a female and a male side. And these female archangels are the other side of the archangel energy. So it's so fascinating, because it really is a time of the divine feminine rising. And we know that as a theory, we know that as words, but it's a whole different thing to really understand it as energy. And I feel that we all need as much information and empowerment about what this is, because, my friends, it's not easy, but it is happening right now. And I'd love Calista to share more about her book and anything she'd like to share with us today. So go ahead, my dear.
Oh, such a rich introduction. Thank you so much, Barbara.
Welcome.
Yeah, this is it. Just as you said, the times that we're living in now are so different to just 7 years ago. And I love that you said 7, because 2020 marks a new 7-year ascension cycle where, and of course a decade, where the theme is one of integration,
Mm.
appreciation, acceptance, and wholeness of everything that we are, not just our spirituality, but really the fullness of our humanity. And this is why the female archangels, known as the Archaea,
Mm-hmm.
are coming forward. For so long, there has been the suppression of the feminine across the board, in every culture. And because we're now in this new age, the Aquarian age, and this new decade, this new cycle of integration, they're coming forward to really help us to heal and empower the feminine within us, no matter if we are male or female in body, it doesn't really matter, so that we can love without fear, love without filters, connect with each other through a truly heartfelt connection. And they have so much to impart, so much to impart. The book that I wrote, 11 came forward, 11 of the Archaea came
Mm-hmm.
forward. And there's so many, just like there's so many different archangels. The other side, as you said before,
Mm-hmm.
of an angel is the Archaea. The feminine has always been there. It's just for so long, because we're in that patriarchy and we're more in a masculine way of doing, a masculine way of being, it was the archangels, or celestial brothers, that came forward to help us to know our spirituality and live who we truly are. But now we're shifting this consciousness, we're evolving our consciousness into the feminine, healing that side of us. And so to answer that call, of course, we need a more feminine vibration.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why the Archaea have manifested. They've always, in truth, been there, because
Mm-hmm.
as an angel really is androgynous. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have a angels don't have a sex or a gender, but they have the vibration, the energy of a male and a female.
Mm-hmm.
And so every time, for example, we call on Archangel Michael,
Mm-hmm.
his divine other half, Archaea Faith, is always there. She's always there. And if we just invoke and call forward Faith, then of course Michael is always there as well. We can't get one without the other.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because our perception is shifting and widening, we're now understanding, of course, we can interact with angels from a feminine perspective, a masculine perspective, or a unified way of being.
It is just so encompassing just to talk about that. Um, so much of what I've seen is that for the feminine to step forward, it's almost without the masculine, but it cannot ever be that, because we are part of each other here. And I think when I saw that, how beautiful that, in a sense, everything that wants to come forward is so protected, or that the opposite energy is still there. It's not like it's going away. It's that it's complementary. And
Yes.
that
Yeah.
healing circle of energy is even more profound, and it allows this, let's just say, the work that has been done by the masculine energy, not necessarily angels, but what has happened in the world and in history now is shifting, but that we're not female alone without the protection of a beautiful divine masculine energy also.
Mm.
So that combination allows us to be whole. And it's not about hating the other or disbanding from the other, but it's allowing this presence of a culmination, and yet allowing a foreground, allowing this feminine to step forward, because it's just the time. That's what I really see it. It's just the time of civilization. It's the time of the way
Yes. Yeah.
everything is moving. And so that when we're like today, I think being able to really understand, it's not just saying it was ever wrong before, it's just that it was what it was, but now we're allowing this beautiful It's like all I can say. I love that coin image. It's just the other side of the coin. The coin is still
Mhm.
there, but we're going to have both sides. But now the illumination will be on the feminine side, and that will
Yes.
shift a lot of conversations and a lot of choices and things that are going to be happening on the planet.
Yeah, absolutely. The archaea, the feminine archangels, they really want us to honor both. They want us to honor and heal our masculine, because the masculine energy of the patriarchy was misused. Uh, I think as a whole, as one collective consciousness, there was a misuse of masculine energy, and we still kind of see that playing out in the political arena and our governments. And that's for another topic, I think,
Hmm.
another show. But the feminine, yeah, the female angels, they want us to balance the masculine within us with the feminine, so we can honor all aspects of who we are.
Hmm.
And I think this is what's happened, as females are rising up, and there's this mass movement of feminine empowerment. Sometimes I feel that uh, we have to deny who we are in order to rise up, or act like a man in order to
Hmm.
be heard. And that's we've kind of lost the point. The
Hmm.
divine feminine is really, in essence, nurture and compassion and unconditional love and listening and being receptive. But we still need the masculine, we still need the inspired action and the
Hmm.
protection and the space. And the angels just really want us to live in balance, especially as we go forward in this new decade, in this new path cycle. As they said, it's all about integration. It's all about,
Hmm.
yes, okay, let's heal wherever we have been suppressed or denied in our energy, whether we want to label that as masculine or feminine. But
Hmm.
let's heal, really, let's go to the core of those issues, the core of the negative thinking,
Hmm.
the behaviors, the addictions, and let's actually heal them. And that's what the archaea do. They
Hmm.
have this incredible way of unearthing the root cause of limiting behavior and beliefs and thinking.
Hmm. Hmm.
They're fearless, and they,
Hmm.
they really hold that template for us to be okay. Instead of just, as much as I like Abraham Hicks
Hmm.
and the law of attraction, they often say, just pick a better feeling thought. Well, that's fine, but what if, these negative thought patterns or habits or behaviors just keep on looping? And they
Hmm.
often do.
Hmm.
And so the archaea, yes, they're an advocate of us, choosing a better feeling thought, but they also want us to get real for a moment and really clear our vibration, clear our energy of the root cause of where those patterns, whether they do exist on a timeline, like a past timeline, or there's ancestral karma or whatever is going on within.
Hmm.
They help us to heal and balance those things so that we
Hmm.
can move forward in wholeness, not just masking how we're feeling and then under the surface all these things are still playing out. No, they
Hmm.
want us to, lift the bonnet off our car
Hmm.
and heal what needs to be healed, put the bonnet down, and then like drive much clearer, be clearer, and be more on purpose in our energy and in our focus.
Hmm.
That's their vision.
So what I saw for myself, I had a conversation with my father that I needed to have, which I never thought I would have to have, but yet the angels urged me to have it on December 31st, and it was confronting something that had happened to me when I was a child. And
Mhm.
it was very scary for me to do, but it was time for me just to ask the question as long as they were still alive, because they're getting older. And what that brought about for me was profound healing, more than I ever could expect. The conversation did not go the way I thought it would. What I saw was the way humanity is, where people want to
Mhm.
be in denial, or that most people are just going to do and say whatever they need to survive for themselves. But I knew that I needed to stand up for myself and just ask the question if they had known that anything had happened to me as a little girl. I
Mhm.
didn't ask who did it. I just wanted to know if they knew. And my goodness, that just totally blew open the door of my freedom. I
Oh,
have
wow.
so much compassion for my parents in a way I never thought I could. It doesn't even matter whether they apologize to me or anything. What I saw was that I had to, the angels gave me the courage to ask the question for my life.
Yes.
And for my life, I had to stand up and say those words. And I'm going to say I'll be 66 next week. And for the most of my life, I did not need to have the conversation. It was like I was able to be um, with compassion, knowing that they did their very best. But the angels urged me to have the conversation. And Calista, you'd think that I'd started World War III. It's like everything came out. And so I know that for me was really healing the masculine for me,
Yeah.
really healing the masculine.
I'm
And
I'm so glad you had that experience and had the courage to listen and share your truth, because that's so important as we move forward. And in December, actually, my father passed.
mhm,
He graduated to Spirit, and I did some remarkable healing with the divine masculine, and a lot of forgiveness. And I know I'm not alone in that. And then you've
mhm,
just shared that story as well. It just seems like that's happening at such a collective level.
mhm, mhm,
Us speaking up and um, having the courage to do so. And it also links in, before we started this conversation, I just took a couple of minutes to tune into, okay, what is the what would be the best angel, or who is with me, who wants to come forward to share the most in this show.
mhm,
And who manifested was Archaea Faith, and she's right here. I can feel
mhm,
her right there with you as well. Archaea Faith, the other half of Archangel Michael. And
mhm,
this is exactly what she does. She
mhm,
helps us to speak our truth so that we
mhm,
can live in divine confidence.
mhm,
And she's a big advocate of what we focus on, we become. It's really simple like that. So
mhm,
if we're focused on being meek, or living in doubt and being uncertain, that's exactly what will be our experience. But
mhm,
if we are willing to share our truth, then we will live in divine confidence.
mhm,
And she can help us to remove the energetic shrouds or collars, or um, all these things that we can carry in our energetic field. I don't know if you believe this,
yes,
Barbara.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm,
Um, and when I was writing the book, especially writing her chapter, I found that I had these layers of things around my throat chakra, that I just had to peel away.
mhm,
And by doing so, I just found that I was able to say, like you, say the things that I needed to say to
mhm,
certain people, not to cause controversy or drama, just because they just needed to come up, and I had to
exactly,
be true to myself. Yeah.
exactly. I mean, my conversation about my having been sexually abused as a child, but not remembering who had done it, that's just how it was for me. I was able to suppress it. But I started it last June. And from that, my mother got really ill and entered the hospital and almost died. So her way of processing it was that. I knew Callista, she would be all right. And
Mhm.
after 2, 3 weeks, she was fine. But I was able to say that I am not responsible for how other people process their emotions, and that I'm not an evil person. I'm not out there causing their health issues, but
Yeah.
um, that it was time for me to. I'm a triple Pisces, whatever that means. I can feel a lot. But the angel said you have to say the question, and it's as if I'd never stood up for me. I've always honored what they needed and they needed. And flip side, when we speak our truth, the angels helped me see is that they got to heal something they might never get to heal, that I can acknowledge them with love, not hate for what happened. And that's it. They can be released however they wanted to hold on to what had happened.
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be held on to without them doing anything. So me coming forward, when each of us, you come forward, and we say the things that we're most afraid to say, and to take care of ourselves, we end up healing others. I mean, really healing others, because they are free. Because in most of
Yeah.
the world, people will not have those uncomfortable conversations. They'll go generation to generation and not have them. And now that with the divine feminine rising and the archaea helping me and helping us, it's as if we can't even stop. It's like they're showing us like the breadcrumbs of what we need to do. We have no idea what it's going to bring to the world and to our lives by speaking our truth. And so I'm very clear that Archangel Michael's been with me all these 7 years, and yet I've been really feeling this. I didn't know really that it was so, how do you say, almost like a twin, but the energy of being so protected by Michael, but yet having this same, if not maybe bigger energy from a feminine archangel has been
Yeah.
helping me. And
That's so beautiful, Barbara, and it gives, sharing your experience like that gives so much permission to others just to voice their truth. Archaea Freedom, who is the other half of Archangel Jeremiah, shared a lot in the book as well, and it was specifically, there was a big bit in there about healing sexual trauma, because 1 in 3 people experience that, whether it's in a relationship or whether it was in a traumatic, another sort of. So she spoke on this subject, and she had some remarkable things to say, and I think this is a point that we need to remember, is that when we try to help another when we know that they don't want our help, or we are sort of forcing our opinions and judgments on them, we just didn't disable their own healing. So the best way to help them to move forward is to be an example. And that's exactly what you've just shared. If we can be an example of living and expressing our own, what's important to us, and wow, we give so much permission to others to do the same, because at the end of the day, nobody wants to be told what to do. And we're done with the phase of spirituality where we need a guru or somebody external to go to. Yes, the angels are always there, but as the feminine come forward, as the archaea come forward, they're really emerging from us. It's almost like they're uploading from us rather than coming from outside in.
Oh, beautiful.
And and they're reminding us that we don't need something external like a deity. We just need to remember that we are source in body. We're creator, but we're also creation. We have all the tools that we need. We just need to remember to pause and create the space to listen to our intuitive guidance, and then follow through without question. And maybe us sharing our truth will make other people uncomfortable, but sometimes that uncomfortableness is what people need to break out of their limiting patterns of behavior and thinking. And so the archaea are they're rebels. They're here to create change, and they will not hold back.
Yeah. So it's interesting, because that's what the energy feels like for 2020. I said, I don't know what's happening, because some of my colleagues and friends in this spiritual community, they're kind of doing the same habitual patterns of how they do their business. I'm just going to say what I see. And it's kind of like a forcing. I know how to do that. I definitely know how to do that. But I was really told by the angels, probably the archaea, listen more. Just listen more, because something new is coming down the pike. It's something, the energy has never been, I've never felt this before. I don't know if it's ever been on the planet before. I don't know it's similar to what was happening in Atlantis. I don't know that. But I was really privy to that this is a brand new energy. And if we allow it, and I like how you explained it, it really is about everything is within us and not just repeating this like a phrase, like it's all in you, but no, it really is coming from you as source
Mhm.
and in a beautiful, joyful way. It's not about, yeah, it's just different. Um,
And
yeah.
the definitions that they used in their book to describe them, because, for example, Archaea Faith, she's also known as Michaela. And
Mm-hmm.
I said to them, okay, do you want to use your names? Like, for example, Michael, do you want to be known as Michaela? And she said no. And the other Archaea were the same. They all wanted to be defined
Mm.
from the perspective of the virtues that they gift us, but they also hold the template off for us to embody. For example, Archaea Faith, or Lady Faith is our other name.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what she instills for us. She instills the virtue of faith, which the root essence, a really good way to to know the archaea as we go forward, because this is brand new information.
Mm-hmm.
So many angel books out there, but this is, we're right on the forefront here.
Mm-hmm.
um, but what they say to get to know them is to use etymology, the
Mm-hmm.
origin of
Mm-hmm.
words. And so if we look up the origin of faith, it boils down to the Latin word meaning to trust.
Mm.
And then we can go further. Faith defines that as trust in action. So the virtue of faith that she gives us is trust in action. So that's lovely, isn't it? If we
Oh
look at
my
that,
goodness.
that's like the perfect balance of male and female.
Mm-hmm.
um, to
Mm-hmm.
trust the feminine, but also to act.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Mm-hmm.
to just sit there and receive the truth, and
Mm-hmm.
to like get the upload, the download of what you need to do, but actually
Mm-hmm.
follow through with it.
Yeah. I mean, because just so many things come to mind when you say that. Faith in taking action. That was one of my frustrations of doing my radio show for 7 years. But what I saw was that people really needed to have faith to take actions because I could give them so much angel card readings and give them the coaching. But if they didn't have the faith just to take the actions, it's
Yeah.
as if believing in the magic or believing just that it would all turn out. So much healing needed to be done for so many people that um, I didn't know how to do that myself. What could I bring for people to see that investigating their own, sometimes trauma, their own past, being willing to look at what has happened, knowing and not knowing, but knowing that it's safe to look, safe to breathe through those experiences, and that is the key to having faith again, because so many of my clients, listeners, I could tell, have been hurt by situations and circumstances that they want to move forward, but I can often see that it is the obstacle of them truly moving forward. It's to find their own way to heal and also take the actions. And I think you would agree with me, it is through taking the actions that we heal, because like I didn't know what was going to happen with the phone call with my father. But I was guided to. I trusted. I had faith that I was doing the very thing that I needed to do to save my life. And I put those two words together, faith and save my life. It's like living with a certain conviction that I matter, you matter, everyone matters. Your feelings matter, your dreams matter. So if the angels give you some breadcrumbs to try something, go somewhere, it really benefits us to try and to have faith.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to share something that happened to me today. So as I was writing the book, um, I so my father passed, but also I went through a very traumatic end of relationship with my fiance, and had to adjust to being a single mom with three kids, and there's so much going on. And yet I had to write the book within 2 months, so there's a lot of pressure. And
Wow.
anyway, part of my healing from all of that was to really get into more of a connection with my body, with my own femininity, because I really was a student of the teachings that were pouring through me in this book. Anyway, and so the angels guided me to put pleasure back into my life, because I was just giving out. Okay, so put pleasure back in. So tuning into that, listening, I knew it was to start dancing, because dancing is, well, one, it's fun for me, but also it challenges me. It takes me out of my comfort zone. And so I've just started to dance, and I went to a workshop today. And when I went into the room, I turned and I looked, and the room was filled with trophies. I think they do like cheerleading, sort of, what's the word? We don't actually have a lot of cheerleaders in Scotland, but lo and behold, there was lots of cheerleader trophies. And as I looked at them, they all had female angels on them. Every statue had these golden
Yes. Yes.
female angels. And I must share the
Yes.
picture with you and with your listeners.
Wow.
And I just knew in that moment, this is exactly where I need to be. The angels, and even before I came on here to do the recording with you, I can actually still see it. There's a white feather on my carpet, and I also found a penny coin. So all these signs from our angels that we're exactly where we need to be. And this helps with the trust and action. This helps with
Yes.
our faith.
Yes.
Because if we get these breadcrumbs, if we receive these signs and we acknowledge them, and we say, okay, thank you, angels, I acknowledge your presence, thank you, then we pave the way for more blessings and miracles to come into our life. Plus, it also gives us the reassurance that, okay, I'm this is the perfect place for me. I'm where I'm supposed to be. And honestly, I felt so loved and so reassured, and I just danced my heart out for most of today, and I feel so connected to my feminine than ever before, because like you, I had experience of sexual trauma, and for many years I just felt robbed. I felt like I had this disconnect with my body. And the angels, I honestly owe so much to them, especially the Archaea and the Archangels, the masculine, because they've really helped me to trust the masculine again. I owe so much to them. And I know that if there's somebody listening that this has been in your life and you haven't shared or voiced what happened, and you want that healing, please share. Please share with whoever is in your life that you need to share with, but also ask the angels to come in and to help you on whatever level you need, because they really will help.
They absolutely. I see the vision of you dancing and dancing. See, I don't know if I told you that I had been a dancer before, but I stopped after I got married, and I've been doing a lot of yoga, but oh my goodness, I'm being called to go back and dance again, and it brings up a lot of emotions, to do that. But yeah, it's time. It's just
Oh
time.
yeah, it's a wonderful way actually to process emotions. I'm starting to realize that it's a very therapeutic way, because as I was saying at the start of this show, the Archaea excel at helping us to unearth the root cause of groups of negative thinking or habits, addictions, behaviors. But it doesn't mean that we've got to sit and go into our subconscious, which they see as a basement. We don't have to go into our basement and reactivate things, memories and trauma. We don't have to do that. All we have to do is just focus on our intention for healing and empowerment, and we send that up, we give that over to our angels and our higher self, and then we receive the guidance for what will help. For example, dance. And I'm finding that dance is a very wonderful way of clearing our subconscious, our basement, of clearing all those shadow aspects without us actually having to go into the stories or
Mhm.
re-identifying with
Mhm.
painful memories. It's just a lovely way for us to move forward.
Mhm. Yeah, it really is about having faith that when we follow, we have permission to follow our joy. And by doing so, we'll be guided. We'll be guided on what we need to do to heal ourselves. And it's not the way that it was done before. And no, I had had a hip flexor injury for about 2 years from yoga, but actually it was on my right side, and that started all of it for me, the right side of the body. I don't know if you're into left side, right side, but I had known that the right side of the body had to do with stepping forward with the masculine. So I
Hmm.
couldn't understand why kept getting injured on my right side, from my foot to my hip. Then I just had this dental surgery on a tooth on the right side, and all I could see was that I was just healing. I'm just healing past energies. I don't stop my life because of these things, but what I'm very present to is the gift of the angels working with me to unearth and release and allow so much more of my self-expression to come forward. And meeting you and learning about the archaea, I could see that, oh, I really can have faith that everything is okay. Everything, it's the feminine really wants to flow through me.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I'm just healing a lot of stuff, you know.
But that's good, and you know you're so surrounded. We're always so surrounded,
Mhm,
and they're wanting me to share a story. So
mhm,
freedom comes forward, Archaea Freedom again, other half
mhm,
of Jeremiah,
mhm.
and in her chapter she was talking about conscious releasing. So we can, for example, if somebody is sitting doing yoga, they're consciously release through their exhale, don't they? Like things that
Yes.
we don't
Mhm,
want. But we can also do it through um, through anything that we expel from our body.
mhm,
And she, you know, she gets really real. She's like, if you bleed, if you know, if you're a woman, you on your menstrual cycle,
mhm.
when you bleed, you can be in ceremony with that and
Mm,
release. And when
mm.
we bleed, for example, this was really interesting. When we bleed on the full moon, if women do that, then because the full moon represents the masculine,
Mm.
on and around the full moon, we're automatically purging the inner wounds, the stories, the trauma of the masculine. On the
Wow.
new moon, very much connected with the divine feminine. And then in between, if a woman bleeds between those phases of the moon, then we are healing and empowering our unified consciousness, which
Mm,
really is where we're going. You know,
mhm,
that's source and body,
mhm,
that's being completely unified. So I found this interesting, and
mm,
a couple of years ago I went to the dentist as well, and I got one of my teeth removed, and
mhm,
I just felt all the stories, all the memories, all the feelings of the sexual trauma that I'd experienced. And I felt
mhm.
like I was packing it into the tooth that the
Yes.
dentist was about to remove.
Yes.
And I remember like packing it, like physically the tooth was really small, but all these energies were huge. And I was packing
Yes.
everything in. And I said, you know, on any timeline, space and dimension, whether it's, you know, past, present, or future, anything to do with sexual trauma or
Mhm,
oppression, I am putting it in. And as he removed that tooth, honestly, Barbara, I felt
mhm,
such a release.
mhm,
And Archaea Freedom, you know, she makes me laugh. She's like,
mhm,
anytime you even go to the bathroom,
mhm.
you can consciously release. You know, you're releasing, and you're letting go. It doesn't have to just be when you exhale. Be more conscious. The angels really want us to be more conscious and to bring things like this into our everyday
Mhm,
so that
mhm,
we can have a consistent spiritual connection, not just
mhm,
when we're meditating or giving healing or doing readings, for example, but
mhm,
so that we're constantly in this divine conversation with who we are, with what we're releasing, what we're bringing into our life and our vibration, but also we're in this divine conversation with the angels. Like, they would love that. And could you just imagine if we all did this
Mm-hmm.
every day? The world would just shift and
Mm-hmm.
ascend and brighten if we all knew that we were supported, if we were opening up and having these conversations and releasing the things rather than being stuck in the mind about what a person's done or hasn't done. And
Mm-hmm.
if we just consciously released, but also consciously received, allowing
Yes.
ourselves to take time through the day. This is what came up a lot in the book,
Mm-hmm.
is giving ourselves the permission to just take breathers
Mm-hmm.
and to pause and let in our higher consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Because in this, I don't know if you feel this, but life just feels so busy and so hectic and filled with so many distractions from social media to
Mm-hmm.
the press, that our energy gets so filled with all these different things, and a lot of them are not serving us. So when
Mm-hmm.
we pause and relax, we can assess our energy, assess how we're feeling, and consciously release if we need to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what do you think about that?
No, I'm totally with you. I think it's never been so loud. All the distractions, it's like
Yeah.
so loud. And mind you, I live in New York City, but you know, we try to go to the gardens and walk in the forest and see flowers every Sunday, but um, it's never been louder. But at the same time, the connection to Earth has never been louder also.
That's so true.
So it's kind of a game that's going on. Some of us would be thrown into having to stop social media so much or just pay attention to that. Following this person really makes me feel ill, maybe there's something to that, so,
Yeah, yeah.
but, just, but just going back to the tooth thing, there's this whole thing with Chinese medicine, which has been around for thousands of years, that if you were to look at How so the meridian of that specific tooth, which I did, it goes right along with what I was dealing with in my life. So the connection to the wisdom of Gaia has never been louder. And at the same time, somebody could call it the dark forces, if they want, but the distraction has never been louder too. So it's forcing some of us to really amp up our commitment, our faith that we are part of the light worker community or not, you know.
Mhm.
Um, that's what I noticed. The distraction has never been louder, or we're so becoming so sensitive that we know we have to make choices that are going to align with our forward movement, with our ability to fulfill on why we're here.
Mhm.
So it's quite interesting. Calista, a few years ago, I knew I was telling my listeners that they needed to have a spiritual toolkit because things were coming. Not like a horrible catastrophe, but just
Mhm.
everyone needs to have a spiritual toolkit, whatever it looks like for you. And that to me is even bigger than it's ever been. You know,
Oh, so true. It is so true. We do. We need to practice discernment
hmm
and understand that we're always supported, but the angels can't do things for us.
hmm
Our spirit team can't. And then again, we return to action. We have to take
hmm
accountability. And I receive many emails either from students or from clients who come to for sessions, and they're wanting to know ways that they can manage the times that we're living in. And I say to them, do you have a consistent daily practice, a spiritual practice of listening or meditating or dancing or whatever it is, something that's
Yes.
really filling you up, so
hmm
you're not always empty, so you're not um, it's not easy for you to get drained, for example. And most of them don't have a practice.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to take this accountability,
Mm-hmm.
practice
Mm-hmm.
discernment, and make sure that we have every day time for ourselves where we're filling back up our cup, we're cleansing our energy, we're really becoming aware. Even, and I wrote about this in the book with the angels, just being aware, for example, of the music we're listening to, and
Yes. Oh my
the
goodness.
yeah, and like the programs we're watching. I
Yes.
can't remember who said it in the book, um, but they pretty much said, if you're watching drama programs all the time, you have to be prepared for your life to get dramatic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because how many times have we watched a movie and then afterwards that movie has influenced our thinking,
Mm-hmm.
or the way that we, sometimes I watch a superhero movie and I literally feel like a superhero afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
you know
Sure.
because we're empathic, we take on the vibration,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that's fun, but what if we're sitting watching something that is really dense, really
Mm-hmm.
dramatic, or horror films, or something really negative, that is going to filter into our consciousness. So
Mm-hmm.
just these,
So, so much so.
yeah,
I
just these
have a,
little
I have a
things.
friend who got really ill in the past 15 years. And I don't think he would hear me if I told him that his singing, he likes to sing the blues.
Hmm.
So he sings the blues, and the blues are all about how life is, down, he's down and out, and so left him, very depressing blues jazz. He's such a high energy, empathic person that I I want to tell him, you have to change what you're singing.
Yeah.
I
You've got to
mean,
sing the
singing the
highs, not the blues.
singing the blues has totally wrecked your health. It's like time to sing. You don't have to sing gospel music, but sing, take it to a different dimension. Try it
Hmm.
on. So, I mean, that's a real example. I mean, to see that you can say you're a coach and you're coaching someone, but then you turn around and sing the blues. Hello, singing the blues. I mean, I used to love that music back maybe in my early 20s, maybe a little. But I really never was into music that was very depressing, you know.
Hmm.
I just can't. So I don't know. Music is so powerful. It is really, really powerful. In fact, Calista, I know we're going to be, towards the end, but yoga teachers and their playlists, if they only knew that their playlists really impact the class because people are listening to the words of these songs, and great
Absolutely.
music will help these people transcend and heal. And another one's going to plug them back into incidents in their lives and upset. Um, yeah, that's one of my things about New York City. Some of these teachers' playlists that just drive me crazy.
On the back of that,
Mhm.
the last angel that was profiled in the book was Archaea Constance, who is the
Mhm.
other half of Archangel Metatron.
Mm,
So together, this is one angel that represents our ascension, like where
mhm.
we're going, our spiritual development. And she shared something really lovely. She was talking about the importance of singing.
Mm.
So rather than listening, being a participant of sound, because
Wow.
singing, we can sing no matter where we are. It's an ascension tool, a spiritual tool that we always have. If we
Mhm.
can voice, we can
Yes.
always sing. And she said, when you start to work with the archaea or the archangels, it doesn't really matter. When you start to bring in the angels into your life, be very aware of the songs that you just find yourself singing, like
Mm.
little ditties that you make up, or poetry, and just
Mm.
really be aware of the words, because these words are your inner being and guidance from the angels that's coming forward. Their guidance for you. And I love that, because when I started connecting with the angels, I would find myself
Mm.
bursting into song. And
Mm.
it literally did come from from nowhere. It came from creation. It came from the womb space of the feminine,
Wow.
and it was just so beautiful, so uplifting. So I would say to the listeners, when you invoke the angels and ask them to come forward, ask them to inspire you through
Mm,
singing, and
mm,
just watch throughout the course of the day what songs come to you, what
hmm.
little poems.
Yeah.
It's a fun way to connect with them.
Wow. And that archaea is associated with Metatron, who is such an incredible archangel today.
Yes.
Song. Who would know that that was with Metatron? Interesting.
Yeah,
Very
because
interesting.
Metatron, yeah, because he is, of course, his focus is more geometry.
Yes.
But if you look at the basis of geometry, it's vibration. And what
Yes.
is vibration? It's sound. So
Hello. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So the
Wow.
masculine is always straight lines. So Metatron's cube is very
Wow.
much filled with the straight lines. But then it's got the circles as well, which is constance, energy.
Wow.
But she literally sings worlds into existence. She's just the most incredible archaea to work with, and she can be likened to the night sky. So she's
Wow.
she's very vast. She can be very silent, and she can help us to be very silent. But then at other times, she's very dramatic, like the night sky, filled with lights, filled with color, and
Hmm.
she helps us to um, develop our spirituality and live our soul's calling. She gives us so much strength, so much power to do that.
Wow. Wow. Well, I'm so excited about this book. I can't wait. Did you know? Yeah, I just can't wait for this book because at first when I saw the title, I said, "Okay, the female archangel." So we'll probably talk about, I don't know. I can't even think of her name. The one that has the Jophiel. But then I said, "What?
Oh yes, yeah.
You know?" But you have introduced me and my listeners to what feels like a whole other energetic dimension that has been with us, but by acknowledging it, I really feel the 3D. I feel it. I feel the presence of them. And I'm just excited. I just so grateful that I got to meet you and to have this conversation. Um,
I
and
know, likewise, Barbara.
I feel like I was waiting through January. I said, something's coming down the pike. It's not the same old, same old. It's just not the same old, same old.
I know we're ready for new because we all have, on a personal level, but also collectively, humankind, we're all ready to evolve.
Mhm,
We're ready for the new. We've shifted our consciousness. We're more and more people are waking up to who they are, and we need something new. We
mhm,
need there to be an evolution.
mhm,
The archaea are part of that evolution, but there's so many other new streams of consciousness. Well, not new streams of consciousness, but streams of consciousness that have always been there, yes, but because we weren't aware of them, they couldn't come forward. So
mhm,
because we're opening and we're ready, and we've been putting out this collective call, the archaea are here, and they're here in their droves. There's so many,
mm,
and I believe there'll be a second book because
mhm,
I
mhm,
had to cap the book at it's 60,000 words, which is it's quite a big book.
mm.
But the angels, Barbara, they had so much to share.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
I can't wait for everybody to read it and get started with connecting with them and bringing them into their life. We're really going to create huge shifts in consciousness. I cannot wait.
It just feels like it's exactly what's been needed. And yeah, it's exactly what's been needed. And we are ready. And I know there is almost like I'm guided to talk about this the tip of consciousness. When so many people raise their vibration, then they're able to shift whole communities of
Yes.
vibration without people even knowing it sometimes. It's
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about. So thank you so much. You know, so the best thing that they could do is to find out more about you at your website. CalistaAscension.com. They can also find you on Instagram and Facebook, like I said. Calista Ascension? Yes.
That's it. Yeah.
And will this be published by Hay House or?
My first book was with Hay House. This
Okay.
is with That Guy's House is the name of the publisher,
Wow.
and
That's
they're an incredible publisher. They have
okay.
other authors like Michael Beckwith, and just yeah,
Wow.
it felt very, very aligned to go with a new publisher. So I'm really
Beautiful.
excited.
Beautiful. So we're coming to a close here. I want to get it under 60 minutes so it's easy for me to upload to Blog Talk Radio. It's just a delight. I could talk with you for hours. I could just talk with you forever. And please, you all, we want to follow her because I love your daily 1-minute videos, and you really get the essence of being in the fresh air of Scotland when I watch and listen to you, you know. And
Mother Earth News. Yeah, I love doing Mother Earth News. Please come and join on my Instagram, Calista Ascension, and say hi. Like, I love connecting with people and just sharing. I'm really, really social, so I would love to hear from you.
I think my listeners are going to be absolutely delighted. So I'm gonna go ahead and close here. And I also know, I just want to make a note. I did see a video of you speaking that I highly recommend also. So I'm not sure whether it was, it's on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube as well. If you just
Yeah,
type in Calista Ascension, you'll find
yeah,
me.
yeah. So that's fabulous, just fabulous. So this hour has gone by very, very quickly. And I feel so prepared for the next decade. I just feel ready. I just feel, I feel like, I did my masculine work and now I'm working with the feminine, but it's definitely, I'm not out there on the limb by myself. I'm protected and safe, and yet so excited to learn about these archaea, because it's
Mm.
truly, I'm just as fascinated, if not more, as when I first started to learn about angels. So I know this is going to be the same for my listeners, Calista. So thank you so, so much.
Oh, my pleasure, Barbara. Thank you.
Okay, my friend, sorry about the little sounds in the background. It's my neighbors coming in, going up the stairs.
That's okay.
Okay, so I'm going to sign off now and just wish you the very, very best. And I look forward to your new book and having it in my hands, and then even talking about it more with my listeners. So have a beautiful evening. I know it's later there here in New York. So have a beautiful night, and I wish you the very, very best.
Oh, thank you. You too, Barbara. And I will let you know when it's out. And when your show airs, if
Yes,
you let me know, and I can share it around all my networks as well.
beautiful. I definitely do
Brilliant.
that. Okay,
Okay.
my friend, have a
So much
beautiful
love.
night. Okay,
Take care.
thanks. Bye-bye.